In Lesson 8, we will be working with evaluating formulas. Formulas are very useful in our world today to perform many tasks. A formula is a rule that states a relationship between several items. In our formulas today, the formulas that we'll be working with today, all the variables or letters in the formulas will be represented by whole numbers, or the whole numbers will actually be the letters. Remember, as you're viewing the tape, take careful notes and stop it if I discuss a concept that you do not understand. Usually when we are given a formula, we are given values for all of the variables or letters except one. Our task is to find the value of the missing variable. To evaluate a formula, we're going to replace all the variables or letters by their values, and once we replace the letters by their values, we will follow the rule for the order of operations. The first formula that we'll be working with is C equals to 3m plus f. So our three variables are m, f, and c. Each variable stands for a certain thing. The m in the formula stands for the miles that a renter will drive a boat. The f stands for the flat fee you would pay to rent the boat. And the c stands for the total cost to rent a boat and drive it m miles. So the m tells us how many miles we're going to drive the boat, the f is the flat fee we'll pay to rent the boat, and the c is the total cost that we'll pay to rent the boat and drive it m miles. Now we're going to be given a number to stand for every variable except for one. It says find c. If m is 20, that means the number of miles we're going to drive will be 20, and f, or the flat fee to rent the boat, is going to be 30, and I assume it's going to be $30. So our question is to find the total cost to rent the boat. So let's write our formula down again. C equals to 3m plus f. Now what we always do is replace each letter in the formula by its value. So in place of m, we're going to put in 20, and in place of f, we're going to put in 30. But we have to know what operations to use when we put those in. So let's look at the formula. It's 3m plus f. Well, when a number like 3 is written right beside a letter, that means to multiply. So we want to multiply 3 by whatever m is, and then add f. So let's fill it in that way. C will be 3 multiplied by whatever m is, and m is 20, plus f is 30. So C is 3 times 20 plus 30. Now, once we've filled in the numbers, we just follow our rules for the order of operations. Okay, our order of operation, remember, says do parentheses first, then do exponents, then multiply and divide from left to right, and last of all, add and subtract from left to right. We don't really have any parentheses here. I mean, we have parentheses, but there's nothing to do inside of them. We're just using them to show multiplying here. We have no exponents. So we're ready to go to our third rule in our order of operations. We're ready to multiply from left to right. So let's do that. We multiply 3 times 20. That's going to give us 60 plus 30. And now all we have left is 60 plus 30. 60 plus 30 is 90. So 90 will be the total cost to rent the boat and drive it in miles. And it's actually $90. I'm going to go ahead and stick the dollar sign on here. Let's look at another formula. This formula is a formula that's used in algebra. We won't worry about now what it's used for, but we'll just see if we can evaluate it. Formula is D equals to B squared minus 4AC. And what we're asked to do is to find D. We're given a value for B, we're given a value for A, and we're given a value for C. And we're asked to find D. So let's fill in the values that we're given. I'll write my D, because I don't know what it is equal to, and I'm given that B is 8, so I want to fill in 8 in B's place. I'm going to put in 8, and since I want to square it, I'm going to put my square in, then minus 4. Now, because the A and the C and the 4 are all written beside each other, it means to multiply them all together. So it's 4 times 2 times 3. So now that we've filled everything in, we're ready to follow our order of operations. Well, we don't have anything to do inside of any parentheses, so we're ready to do exponents, and we only have one exponent, the 8 squared. So that's what we'd want to do first. Remember, when you raise to a power, your base is a factor 2 times. So 8 is a factor 2 times. So what that's doing is asking me to do 8 times 8. And 8 times 8 is 64. So that's what I'd want to fill in. 64 minus 4 times 2 times 3. So now that we've done our multiplying, now that we've raised the power, we're ready to go to our next rule that says to multiply and divide from left to right. We don't have any division, but as we move across, we see we do have multiplying. So let's do the multiplying. D is equal to 64 minus. We could do all this multiplying at one time, or we could do it one at a time. I'll just do it one at a time. 4 times 2 is 8. And then we'd still have times 3. So then I'd have 64. Subtract. 8 times 3 is 24. So now I'd be ready to do 64 minus 24. And if you need to write that down to see it, come over to the side and do that. 0, 4. So the D that we were looking for is 40. D will be equal to 40. Now, when we're finding D, the value of D in this formula is determined by the values of B, A, and C. If I change the value of any one of those, then the value of D would change. If I decided I wanted my A to be a 5 instead of being a 2, then I would go back and do all the work again, but I'd put a 5 in where I put the 2 in. And that would certainly give me a different answer. So these things are called variables because they can vary. And when they do vary, if you change what they are, then it's going to affect what you get for the answer to D. This next formula that we're going to look at is another mathematical formula. It's a formula that's used also in algebra. It's S equals to A plus the expression n minus 1 and then times D. And we're to find S if we know what A, N, and D are. So the first thing we want to do is go through and fill the numbers in place of all the letters.